So I'm using the steady blade of the scissor against her skin to kind of guide my scissor up through and create that nice hard line in the haircut. I talked to you guys about it earlier. With this specific haircut, what I want to do is add a little more detail to all of the edges. So working around the temple area, now working in the back of the head and just drawing those lines. Now I want to work in the background. Because this is a little bit heavier back here, had more over direction, I want to go through horizontally and do some point cutting because that allows me to work better with the shape and remove the weight. Now we're going to go through scissor over comb. This is really just to add in more detail. The detail's not done wet, guys. So we go through, we build the shape and the foundation wet. Then we go in dry and we do all of our techniques that we know to really fine tune the haircut. So going through the scissor over comb, now I'm doing some more point cutting, adding in a little bit of texture, softening the shape, doing the detail around the edges of the haircut. So I'll comb the hair forward and I'll just work the point of the scissor to add that detail work on the outer edge. And then a little more scissor over comb to soften it, to kind of build in that shape. So I take everything I know, everything I learn, and I add it into every single haircut because that makes every haircut stand out and makes every haircut your own. So it's this detail work that people pay extra for, and that not even that they pay extra for, it's what makes your haircuts great. So just really work on that the dry detail work in your haircut. So just going through the top, a little more point cutting, softening it, but also adding texture. And that is the end result of the haircut. I'll do a little bit more detail right around the ear in 1 second. So combing that forward. I love seeing those layers and how they're laying and how the color pops through the top. This just makes the haircut really, really stand out. And this is what I was talking about, making it a little bit more modern. So the thing I really want you guys to notice is the left part side, how it balances with the right side, even though we cut it asymmetrically. And there's our end.
All right, that's the end result. So I hope you guys liked it. Actually, if you guys want to take a look at it again, you can see the shape and everything. Thank you guys for hanging in there. I know that everything crashed. Of course it did, because I pay lots of money to have this software work. So, of course it crashes. Thank you. Thank you, live stream and Vimeo. You're the best. You guys are awesome, though. We came back on live, and you shared it right away, and we grew. I think we have higher numbers now than we did before. So thank you guys so much for that. Thanks for hanging in. Welcome to the show. If you're new to the show, it's a live request education show. So I show education videos, created over 1,000 videos in the last 6 years. So I have pretty much every subject, and I have a lot of brands that have jumped on board sharing their education as well. So anything you guys want to learn, I have it ready for you. Now we're going to go to Sam Villa. He's going to talk about, I don't know if it's Sam or one of his team, but we're going to talk about how to remove bulk in a pixie cut. So this show's all about pixies, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. Let's get started. Here's the video from Sam Villa. Here we go.
Hi everyone, Andrew Carruthers, Education Director for Sam Villa. So our good friend Thomas Stoops sent us this question through Facebook. He asked, how do I control really thick, dense hair when it's cut into a pixie? And he mentioned in the message that he had already tried some disconnection, some really deep texturizing, and you know what? I think we have the solution for you. A lot of times with those really extra dense heads of hair, we need to do a step called pre-texturizing. We need to knock down the excess density before we go in with some of our more aggressive visual texture techniques like disconnection, detachment, or even just really deep point cutting or other forms of texturizing that are focused on the ends. Because really what happens with that really dense hair is we're dealing with so much weight and bulk right down at the scalp, especially when it's cropped down this short. So here's our suggestion. We're going to be using the Essential Series blending shear. The point of difference with our Essential series is that this is going to take a softer amount of weight away with each cut versus our Signature series blending shear. And if you think about the principles of hair cutting, short hair tends to be a little stronger than long hair. So sometimes we're hesitant to get in really close to the scalp to create these textures. With this type of hair, with really excessively thick hair, you need to get over that fear. And that's why we're going to use the Essential series blending shear. Because yes, short hairs are stronger than long hair, but is one short hair stronger than 30 really heavy long hairs? The answer to that, no. So with this shear, because I can come in and come right down at the scalp and take away just wisps of hair, I'm putting very tiny little holes in between. Now, if we went in and were more aggressive, let's say, we really channel cut right down in at the scalp, then yes, you would have the potential of that actually creating more volume in your shape. So that's why it's very, very important to use a very soft blending shear with this technique. So we're going to come right down in at the scalp, put the solid blade in at the scalp because we want the teeth facing down into the head to influence the hairs to want to sit to the head. Go in, close, and slide right through. Now we don't want to go back over the same section too often, because if we go back over the same section a couple times, then we could create a little cluster of short hairs down there at the scalp. And that could end up doing exactly what we don't want to do, which is create more volume. So while you're doing this, be very careful to take very clean sections, comb those forward, and do not cut on your previously cut sections. Diagonal sections are going to work better because that's going to help the hair to lay better, and it's going to keep you from creating any visual lines in the haircut. So you're just going to create a couple cuts with each piece. Now, what could happen here is we've now gotten to the crown area. If you have splits and whorls right here in the crown area, that is where you need to be careful, because even a couple short little hairs right on that surface could create a big problem for you. You might end up with little alfalfa sprouts there in the crown. So as long as you're underneath the surface, don't be afraid to grab a hold of a really soft blending shear and dive right in at the scalp. Do that step first, then come in with your more aggressive texturizing techniques to give the texture to the surface and to the ends. We know that this will help you so much with those pixie cuts on girls that have what we love to call chihuahua hair. Keep the Facebook comments and questions coming, and we'll try our best to answer you. I'm Andrew Carruthers for Sam Villa.
All right. So what'd you guys think of that? That was a good tip. I think one of my favorite things with pixie cuts and one thing that I definitely took from that video is that he was going so far in, which is something I learned from them that I never really thought about doing before. Like when I would thin out a section using texturizing scissors, I would go in, I don't have a scissor here. I would go in about halfway down a mid shaft. I would never go below mid shaft, just thinking like, why would I cut hairs that short? But it makes so much sense. You're taking out the weight, and some of you guys might do that already, but for me, just in my mind, it didn't make sense to cut hairs at the scalp that short. But just going in, he uses the tip just to remove a little bit of weight. It doesn't change the shape of the haircut. That's the key. When you go in mid shaft or you start thinning out that area, you're totally shifting the shape to sit heavy at that mid shaft area, probably in parts that you didn't want. So Jumbo Wumba hair. Yeah, that might have been an old video. That was hilarious though. All right, I'm loading up a video of a highlight. I'm hoping we'll get it going. So what I'm going to do now is I want you guys to go download the FSE Now app, obviously. And if you have any questions, let's post those in the chat. We can do a little chat for a minute. Obviously, with the software crashing, this highlight that I wanted to play with Jamie Dana on highlighting a pixie, it's at 50%. So me and you get to hang out for a little bit and talk. Or I could play you something else. So if you have another request, I have videos ready. If you have something else that you'd like to see, let me know. Or if you have any questions, post those in. Yeah, we got somebody from Twitter on here. Rhonda, welcome. That's awesome. That's a first. Let's see. Long layers. Okay. Peggy. I like that. So this is where I know I have like, when I speak, I don't speak clearly. Essie's saying, where is the FSC software? So FSE is Free Salon Education. So it stands for Free Salon Education. FSE app looks like this in the App Store. And we're hoping the update's going out today. If not, it will definitely be out tomorrow. Can you see it? I got a lot of apps, but nope. It's this one. It's FSE, Free Salon Education Now. Looks like that. So then when it opens up, it's got all of your beautiful work. Look at this one. Oh, man. Focus. Focus. There it is. Look at that. Beautiful. You guys are jamming with the work on here. Creative hairstylist. People are testing stuff. So Melissa Reisner did that work. Good job, Melissa. Rainbow braid. Downloaded. Thank you, Emily. It's awesome. We have over 2,000 stylists on the app now, and it's only been a week and a half, 2 weeks, maybe at the most. And the biggest update ever is coming today or tomorrow. So the app's going to even have a facelift to look even different, even though it's only been out a week and a half. That's what happens. I change my mind quickly, and so does Christina. And well, I don't know if Christina changes her mind as quick as I do, but she's more rational than I am. So let's see. Anything else? All right, you downloaded. Good. This has been a nice hangout. The video's growing. All right. So make sure you're on there sharing your work. This is really what the app's all about. Check it out. Oh, nope. That's not it. Check this out. Yep, so that's the app. So go download it. And Roya, we'll see you later. Roya, you're very welcome. Thank you so much for hanging out always, every day. Appreciate that. I'll see you tomorrow for sure. Hey, Matt, are you a Flyer fan? Who is the pick behind you? Yes. So I grew up in Illinois, on the border of Illinois and Iowa. And, you know, I liked sports teams growing up, but like, not like, it wasn't like a big part of my life. And then I moved when I was 21 near Philadelphia, which is where I live now, and met my wife 3 months after moving here, and found out what Philadelphia is all about, which is sports, and became very, very Philadelphia sports loving. So Flyers, Eagles, all about it. So that we had season tickets to the Flyers. That won't be happening again for a while. We had season tickets to the Flyers, and so we got an autographed photo from the Flyers. So another thing, somebody asked me, stars. What are the stars? I'm guessing they were saying the tattoos on my arms. That's what's called 18 years old. And I don't know. I got a lot of stars on my arms. I got my name on my arm. I got a lot of things that I probably shouldn't have got on my arm. But that's what 18 looks like. Melissa, go sports. It's funny. There's a weird relationship. And this podcast, this show just went into a totally different direction. I was on fire. And I still feel like I'm doing good. But now I'm just talking to you guys because I just feel like it. But There's a weird thing with hairdressers in sports. I feel like there's a lot of hairdressers that think it's cool to pretend like they don't know sports, and they probably don't know sports, but like you don't like, to me it's not cool to just to be like, I don't know. Like if you're not into something, you shouldn't be negative about not being into it. You know what I mean? Like some people are into sports, some people aren't. So like some people are into dancing. I'm not into dancing. But I don't make fun of people that dance. I think it's cool. I'm glad they're into it. 18 doesn't look too bad, really. Go Pack Go. All right, I like the Packers. If I was a sports person, we'd be rivals. I'm from Pittsburgh. True, but if you were from Dallas, it would be even worse. So at least you're not from Dallas. If you were from Dallas, I might block you from this chat. Just kidding. I probably wouldn't do that. That wouldn't be nice. And that goes against me saying that, you know, you can't make fun of people for what they like. But if it's a really bad decision, sometimes you can make fun of them. Jordan, sports become annoying when people take it to a religious level. I get it. But sometimes, like, there's just things that, like, that take, like, so when you spend your whole week, like, let's say we're in the salon all week and we're just stressed and like whatever, and like on the weekend you have that thing that is a release, whether it's like hiking or, you know, whatever it is, going out, doing whatever, it's just a release for you. Sports is that for a lot of people. Like a lot of people, like that one little time, like when you're watching something just like a Netflix special or something, like it takes your mind out of the real world and into something that you can just like look forward to every week. So like that for me is like why it's pretty cool. Hi Matt, can you show a page boy haircut? That's hilarious that you say that because I actually have one of those. And who would have thought? Let me see if I have it ready to go. Page boy cut with blunt bangs. It's not loaded up. I'm going to load that up, though, and I will absolutely play that for you. If not today, I'll play it tomorrow for sure. Who was that? Hairdressing on YouTube. Yeah, I'm going to make sure I do that. Johnny, come on. Come on. All right. We can still be friends. All right, guys. So I know I'm losing people. All right. So let me see if I have a video that I can just put on and we'll learn something together, and then I'll try to play Jamie's after. What is this one? How to do a quick. That one's not ready either. I was a little crazy on my 20th. I like ride a bike. Sweet. Sorry guys, I usually have all this loaded up, but the computer crashed. And you know what? This one's good. So this is what happens, just to fill you guys in. I pull the video into the software. The software has to like process it before it can play. We're 15% away from Jamie's video being ready. Usually I process these the day before so that I'm pretty much ready. And then as you guys request, I can put a video in and it processes while I play the other ones. And it's usually a good flow. When everything crashes, now I gotta wait. So we have to have a conversation. Play the theme song and dance. You got it. I'm not dancing.
Welcome to the Matt Beck podcast. Woke up this way.
You guys can learn the words.
Cool stuff he's gonna show you today. The latest news, industry topics, and business tips for all hairstylists.
Blanca, thank you.
Time to flip the script.
What school did you go to?
Let's cut a bob, a quick shag,
I should show you guys.
Check out the live
Watch
classes,
this.
product reviews. Let's rock on. Don't forget to check out freesaloneducation.com. This way.
I'll show you.
It's gonna be a great day. Chop it, clip it, spray it, flip it. I woke up this way. It's gonna be a great day. Chop it, clip it, spray it, flip it. Let me show you the way. gonna be a great day.
All right.
Chop it, clip
Here.
it, spray it, flip it. I woke up this way.
All right, that's funny. Okay, so we're almost there. 10 more percent. I'm going to show you guys. This is where I grew up. See if I can get this. This is my computer screen. It's going to go all crazy, but right here. So this is yeah, it's going in. So this is my town that I grew up in. This is in Illinois. I lived here my whole life till I was 21. And now, let's see. Nope, that's not what I want to do. So, there's like not a lot of street blocks. You didn't have to worry about getting lost. So I lived right about here in this area. And look, here's the surrounding towns. It's pretty far away. So there you go. And now I live over here. So there's my story. Let's see if I can close this out. Come on. There we go. Back to the software. Back to me. So, Gene, yeah. Yeah, it was so tiny. It was a town of 750 people. And you know what's funny is I'm so happy that everything worked out the way that it did, because basically I grew up there my whole life, and 750 people. So like literally 150 people in my high school, total, like in the whole high school. And, you know, living there then, like I couldn't wait to like go do, like I just wanted something bigger. Like I always was trying to figure out, whether it's playing music or whatever, just trying to figure out what I could do to make it bigger. And the funny thing is, when I moved away 1,000 miles away, my whole family still lives there. And you know, I came out here, met my wife, we have a family, I have a 12-year-old, and so I'm happy that everything happened. But it's funny, like when you realize that the way that you grow up in that small town, that small area, is so unique. Like it's like nothing else ever. The relationships, just like the small town feeling of just knowing everyone, and the kids, and like, you know, so it's funny. I'm glad it all happened the way it did, but you definitely miss that, you know, that feeling. All right, cool. All right, literally 1% left. This is going to be the grand finale, Jamie Dana's coloring a pixie. You guys are going to love it. So thank you for hanging in with me. You know, a lot of you guys are still staying on there, so I'm really impressed. I love that you mentioned your wife. There's many. So first off, I want to take this time before we go into Jamie's video to say that there wouldn't be any of this stuff that I do without my wife, Christina. I'm very sporadic in things. Like this show came, you guys might have been on live when it happened. I don't really think a lot. I just go and do. My wife is my business partner, and she is so good at seeing scenarios and seeing things and looking at it and rationally like breaking it down and understanding it and making the right decisions. I'm like, I just fly by the seat of my pants and just go. So I mention her a lot because there's a part of me that, like, when you're the face of everything, like when you're in front of everybody and everybody knows who you are, but they don't know who she is, and she doesn't want to be and she never wants to be on anything. But when I'm the one delivering all the messages, but she does half of the work all the time, you know, it's just tough. It's got, you know, I can't really imagine. The good thing is she doesn't really care about being out in front of it. So thank you guys. Thank you for recognizing that. That's why I know we're a family in this chat. And that's what I'm trying to build. So the people that left, I don't really care, because I'm not about growing this that fast. What I want to do is grow a core group of people, a community that, you know, we're in it together and we understand each other. I'd love to know more about you guys as well. That's why the app is going to be great, because I can see your work and really get familiar. I'm getting familiar with your names in the chat, which is really fun. But then when you go on the app, which is our app, FSE Now, FSE now. I should just get a thing that goes FSE. Like, then I'll get to see who you are, your face, where you're from. You have your profile picture up there. Like, it'll become more interactive as the app grows. So, all right. I asked him a while back if we're gonna meet her. Brenda, you'll probably meet her for sure. You know, right now our son is in school, so like a lot of you guys, your kids might be sitting right next to you right now. Our son's at home with her, doing school online. So it's weird. But eventually the salon will be back open, and her office is right down the hall, and you know, she'll come in here for sure. I mean, this is the best thing that came out of this whole situation is me getting back to doing this every day, and like just having something to get up and do. And like, I love this show. I filmed 2 videos yesterday, which is something I probably could have talked about. I filmed 2 videos yesterday. One was the bob that I talked about. I did it live on Instagram, and I'm cutting it up today. And then I did another one, an asymmetrical round bob to triangular, which was just so fun. And like, I haven't done that in a while, because I just got into the routine, and plus building the app and all that stuff. So tons of videos coming out. If you're on the app, you'll see it first, and then you'll see it later on the show and on YouTube and everything. Have to find the app. Sounds cool. And the episodes I've caught, I've definitely enjoyed. Corey, awesome. That's great. Becky, I hope more UK hairstylists sign up. Me too. There was an issue with UK in the way they were putting their phone number in, and we fixed it. So that might have been why there's not too many. All right, cool. All right, guys. So Jamie's video is ready. The moment you have all been waiting for. This is going to finalize the show. She's got a ton of great energy, so you guys are going to like this. Here is the video. Here we go. Enjoy, guys. Thanks for the chat. I really appreciate it. I'll be back.
What's up, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are doing highlights on short pixie hair, so stay tuned. Alright guys, I'm really excited for this video because I have a feeling that this is something that either 1, scares the heck out of you, or 2, freaks you out a little bit. If you've ever had a client that came to you and maybe they had short hair or like a pixie cut, and they're like, I want to add in some highlights, or I just want a little bit more dimension in my color, and you immediately freaked out. And the reason why I know this is because that used to be me. I used to be so scared to do highlights or any kind of dimension on short pixie hair because I was afraid it was gonna look like a grandma, or it was gonna look like splotchy cheetah spots. And trust me, nobody wants that. So I came up with a technique that is really simple, really easy, and something that's a lot more modern without any cheetah spots. So I'm gonna share with you guys today how you can achieve a highlighted look and how you can do highlights on somebody who has really short pixie hair. Super easy, and something that blends really nice in the side and blends in that back so that you don't get that spotty look. So let's go. All right, so this is our before. As you guys can see, we've got a lot of depth in there. She hasn't had it highlighted in a while, and obviously when you have short hair, it has to be maintained just a little bit more often than long hair can go. So we're going to brighten her up, definitely get rid of this black hole going on, and I'm really excited to just give her a lot more dimension and give her some more fun color to play with. All right, so we are gonna mix up her lightener, and I'm gonna be doing Wella Blondeur with about 30 volume, and of course we will use Olaplex as always. And so we're gonna go in, like I said, probably with some highlights and more so baby lights, especially when it comes to around the sides. So I'm just gonna mix up my lightener and we're gonna get started. All right, so I just finished mixing, and one little tip that I wanted to give you guys was I always mix with just like a regular brush, but then when I go to apply, I use a clean brush. So when I take it over to the bowl, we've got a nice clean brush. That way there's not a bunch of stuff all over that. And then I just kind of leave a foil out here, and I leave the brush here in the back room so I can come back and remix or have my assistant remix really easily without having to kind of mess up our clean brush, and then that way we're having a cleaner application. So just a little pro tip there to try that out. All right, so what I did was I sectioned out, kind of, you guys know if you've watched any of my partial highlight videos, I always like to kind of start right here at the apex and then kind of work my way down and then work my way forward. So we're gonna kind of do the same thing here. I'm just kind of sectioning out this little back section for her, but I'm actually gonna be working on the diagonal because I don't wanna go just straight across and do straight across foils, because what would happen is then she would end up with kind of like a stronger line down here. We don't really want that. We're okay with it seeing a little bit of disconnect, but I don't want it to be like a strong line, and I also don't want it to grow out really harshly. So I'm actually gonna go in kind of diagonally, and I'm gonna show you guys exactly how I'm gonna do that. Then I also tore my foils in half so that we're working with smaller foils just to really attack a lot of these shorter hairs and get them in there really easily without having lots of foils all over the place. So in this back section, we're gonna be working with smaller foils. All right, so to get myself on the diagonal, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take a little triangle section here, and I'm going to kind of part this away, and I'm gonna be kind of working inwards here because that kind of follows the natural shape of the head. So that's how we're gonna do this little back section, and then when we get to the front, I'm gonna show you guys what we're gonna do there. So I'm just gonna start here, and you guys can see she has like no lightness in these hairs here, but I'm kind of working with like more baby light sectioning. And instead of doing my foils like most people would fold them, fold the foil down like this way, right? They would fold it like this. You can totally do that, but if you've watched any of my foiling videos, I actually foil backwards. And this is gonna allow me to kind of work this way without a ton of foils in the way. So I'm gonna foil backwards here and show you guys what I'm doing. And you guys can see how that little section kind of fell out of my foil there. And that's why I like using this brush particularly. This is the brush from Framar. This is kind of their medium-sized brush. But you guys can see I didn't have to go pick up my comb to kind of get that little section. I kind of just did it here with my brush, which is kind of really nice to be able to do that. Especially when you're working in more detailed areas like this, it's really, really helpful. So you guys are gonna see I'm kind of doing a little bit of a pivoting, kind of pivoting here until we get to here, and then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Now, if it's more comfortable for you guys to not foil backwards, you totally can foil this way. Again, you guys can see you can easily switch off if you want to. Now this angle is getting a little bit easier for me to actually foil down. So totally what works for you. And that's the cool thing about these techniques that I'm teaching you guys is really what kind of works for you and your dexterity. I think a lot of us have different dexterities of what we've done before. So you guys can see I'm now folding it this way. It's nice to be able to be flexible with that. So don't stress about it too much. You can kind of play around with whatever works for you. So I'm gonna finish up this section and then we're gonna go to the other side. All right, so what I did was I kind of went from that pie section, and I'm just gonna show you guys with my comb. I kind of did pivoting radials all the way till we're about here, and now we're gonna do the same thing on this side. Now, just the way that her calic worked out, she has a few more foils on this side than she will on this side, but that's just kind of how her hair was flowing, so I just kind of went with it. So I'm gonna now work my way down this way. I'm gonna take that little pie section to start out here and kind of just go down this way. You guys are gonna see me actually foil this one down, and the reason why is her calic was sticking out. Did you guys see that? It was kind of fluffing up and kind of getting in my way. So if I foiled backwards the normal way that I would, it would have tended to want to stick to that foil. So, you know, again, this is flexible. I'm just foiling it down. It kind of just worked for that section. So do what works for you and for the client's hair. Now, one thing I will say when you are foiling short hair like this, especially in this area where you have cowlicks and hair is not really quite cooperating with you the way that you want to, is sometimes your foils, they might look a little messy. And you know what? That's okay. Things like that happen, especially when you're doing short hair. So yeah, my foils aren't as clean as they normally are, but I'm still getting the job done, and I'm still really being precise and clean with my sectioning and all of that. So even though from the outside they may not look 100% clean, they're kind of a little crinkly, that's all right. I know that inside that they're very clean and that all my sections are still really clean. It just is because we're working kind of on the round of the head here and we're working with these short hairs. So if that starts to happen to you, or you start to stress about it, like, man, my foils don't look very clean, that's totally normal, and you're not doing anything wrong. In fact, you're probably doing it really right. All right, I'm gonna finish up this little section here and then we're gonna head up to the front. so we finished our back section, and now what I'm gonna do, especially because she does have a little bit wider of a set of a head than maybe some clients. Some clients you might be able to do a mohawk. We're actually gonna split her hair down the middle, and we're gonna do side by side. And this is gonna allow me to kind of have it a little bit more diagonal, again, so that it's not just like straight across. We don't want it to look like train tracks or chunky. So we're gonna do diagonal, kind of going down this way, and then same thing on the other side. So now you guys can see I started that diagonal back. I'm going to show you with my comb. I kind of started, not diagonal back, just diagonal. And then I kind of pivoted, and now I'm going pretty much straight all the way through, because now we're getting around to kind of her little baby bangs that she has up here. So all I've been doing is just basically going all the way straight. Sometimes I'm doing slices, sometimes I'm doing weaves, but because I'm doing them so fine, the slices aren't going to look like straight up lines, right? You know, because we're doing them really kind of fine, more baby lights. You definitely want to be careful when you are doing short hair like this that you're not taking too thick of sections. It'll be a lot easier to manage doing thinner, finer sections, such as like baby lights or microweaves, whatever you want to call it, than trying to just grab a bunch of hair and stick it in the foil. So just being really aware of that is actually going to make your job a lot easier, and you're going to have much more desirable results. So I'm just going to kind of finish this section going all the way forward, and then we will go to the other side. One other thing I want to mention too is I've been folding the foils just on this edge, because we are going to have to do foils on this side, and if we have foils that are overlapping into this section, it gets really messy. So I'm actually not folding the foils on this side. You totally could, just I don't think it's necessary, but I am folding it on this side to keep that parting really clean. All right, so now we're gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna kind of go pivoting and then just straight through until we get to that little bang section. And a lot of these little hairs are kind of falling out. That's part of the other section, so I'm not even gonna worry about them. I'm just gonna start tackling, kind of leaving this little triangle out and going from here. Now sometimes these foils right up in here, this section, can feel a little funky because it can feel kind of tight in there. So I am folding my foils down because obviously I can't go backwards. So again, when you're working with short hair, because you are working in such tight little spots, you do have to adjust sometimes, and that's why I kind of almost make it up as I go. Obviously I have my sectioning, I have a plan of what I'm doing, but I make it up for the client's head shape and where the foils are just kind of falling. I don't necessarily like, oh, I have to foil backwards or I have to foil like this, because I don't want to have that pressure on myself. So like I said, I do have an idea of what I'm doing, but also being flexible with it. Alright, so we're just finishing up her little bang section here. She did want it to be a little tiny bit brighter in the front, so we're going just slightly closer foils. But if you guys have watched any of my other foiling videos, highly recommend you do, because I do really tight, very precise foils here in the front. And so one thing I would mention before even kind of attempting to do short hair, it is definitely a little trickier just because you're working with shorter hair, but it's not impossible. It totally can be easy. You just gotta practice. And so one way to practice on even your everyday clients is those little short baby hairs that I teach you guys how to do in my partial highlighting and in my full highlighting tutorials. These are gonna be kind of the hairs that you have already around the face already. So if you're really good at doing that detail work around the face with your regular clients, doing short hair is going to be a lot easier for you. So highly recommend that, and that's something that you can practice all the time, like I said, on your regular clients. So we're just going in, getting these little guys right here. Now she does have these really short ones that she kind of cut underneath little micro bangs. We are not going to foil those because they might look a little funky. So we're going to leave those, but I'm just kind of getting these longer hairs that are laying over and finishing up this little section here. So those are our finished foils. You guys can see this entire section I actually did foil down. So you guys can see the foils are kind of going this way. These ones I did foil backwards, and then I foiled down in the front. again, that's just what worked for me for her head shape and kind of the way her hair was flowing. Obviously when I foiled down, I folded the foil so they're a little cleaner looking on this side than on the other side. But just to recap, what we did was in the back we did kind of pivoting radials all the way around the back, kind of going in towards that middle. And then from here we did diagonal and then kind of worked our way straight all the way through. And the cool thing is about doing short hair is you don't got to do the sides. So we're gonna let her process and then I'll show you guys what it looks like once we're done processing. All right, so we're gonna mix up her kind of overlay color. I'm gonna be kind of doing a mix of some of our Joico Intensity. We got bronze, we got some mauve quartz, some peach, and a little bit of rose. I love these tones. Another one that they have that I absolutely love is their rose gold shade. We just don't have it here. So I'm gonna be kind of mixing these guys up. I wanna do a custom mix for her. So I'm basically going to be doing, I call it like squirt, and just keep playing around with the color. So I like to start with my lightest shade. So I'm gonna start with our rose here. We don't need to mix up a ton because she doesn't have a ton of hair. And then I'm also gonna throw in some peach here. And I like to start with the lighter shades and then work darker. Now the one funky thing about this color line is it does have a little bit of some glitter in it, which is kind of cute, kind of funky. But you guys can see this is like really, really bright. Like this is like I would consider like Barbie pink. And so I actually really like to mix in some of this mauve quartz and bronze, their metallic series, to kind of deepen it up a little bit. So we'll do a squirt of that in there. And honestly, a lot of people ask me what my formulas are for my rose golds. It's honestly just mixing it up until you get the right shade and then just swatching it. So I obviously have kind of an idea of what I'm doing, but I do like to custom mix all of my rose gold shades because sometimes one client wants a little bit more peach, one wants a little bit deeper, one wants a little bit more rose gold. So yeah, so I'm just kind of custom mix these. I really like how this is looking. Also taking into consideration, she's got a lot of warmth in there still left over, so that's gonna play into our final shade. So once I kind of have an idea of like a shade that I like, what I like to do is I take a little bit, I also take like a white paper towel and I'm just gonna kind of swatch it out on there. And knowing that this is white, she's got a little bit more warmth in there, so it will come up a little bit more warm. I'm gonna add a little bit more pink to this, and I just keep doing that until I come up with the shade that I like. Alright, so I brought her back over to the chair and we did dry her hair just because I wanted to make sure that the color really soaked in really well. So I'm just kind of applying it really quickly here, just getting it all the way through, and then I'll brush it through with like a comb just to make sure that we get it all in there. And here is our final result, you guys. I just love how blended it looks and how we still got so much dimension in there, and obviously love the rose gold color. So many of you guys asked for my formula on that, so I wanted to share that with you guys here, and that's kind of what she wanted. So anyways, I hope that you guys aren't intimidated to try out this technique. It obviously makes such beautiful results, and I really hope that you try it out. All right guys, I hope that this video was helpful for you. Like I said, I know that this is something that I used to struggle with. I know it's something that can be a little scary, and so I hope that this video broke it down for you and gave you an easy method of how you can start highlighting your client's hair, or those clients that just want a little bit more dimension, you can do it for them. So if you like this video, go ahead and let me know in the comment box. I would love to hear how this video helped you, and I would love to know if you have a client that you're already thinking of doing this technique on. I think that that's really cool if you can implement this into your clientele right away. Also, if you don't already follow me on Instagram, or you've never taken the time to say hello, go ahead and send me a DM on Instagram letting me know that you watched this video and tell me what you think about it. I would love to hear your thoughts and love to hear if you liked it. Last but not least, if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, make sure to do it now. I release tons of videos like this every single week, and you're not gonna wanna miss out on them because it's amazing, free education, and it'll help you take your career to the next level. All right guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Right, Jamie Dana, guys. So hope you guys enjoyed that video. I can tell by the chat that you guys loved it, obviously. so cool being able to have this like all of these different techniques, all these different artists in one show. If you guys want to watch the replay of this show, I'll obviously splice it together, the 2 parts, and it'll be available on YouTube later today. So Jamie, it's Jamie Dana. So let me, here. This is her Instagram, at Jamie Dana, and at Jamie Dana Hairstylist on YouTube and Instagram. So there you go, guys. A lot of talented people on the show today. So thank you to all of them: Jamie Dana, Sam Villa, Andrew Carruthers, everybody for allowing the content to be on here. Paul Mitchell, obviously, at Fern the Barber. Go follow everybody. Tell them that we said hi from Free Salon Education. So I'm going to go. We're going to leave the show. What I want you guys to do now is just, if you could do me a favor, go download the FSE Now app. Go to freesaloneducation.com. You'll see the links everywhere to sign up. You can do that. Today was all about pixies, so I hope you guys enjoyed the theme of today's show. I think tomorrow what I'm going to focus on is curly hair. What do you guys think? Cutting curly hair, coloring curly hair. I'm going to load up some things like that. If you guys have requests, make sure you're texting them to this phone number. I get those requests all day long, so I can see them. Why don't you give me a call too? You can leave a message and let me know what you think of the show. I'd love to do that. I'd love to put together a whole thing, just of you guys talking about the show and what you like about it. And also, of course, comment below and share the show and subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on those notifications so that anytime I go live, you guys know, especially on times when the show crashes and you can't find me again, you need those notifications on. So make sure you hit those. Yes, cool. Everybody seems good with Curly, Peggy, Lynn, Blanca. You're very welcome. Rose, hello. Emma, thank you. Jean, Lynn, Jess, Shelly, Peggy. All right, cool. Jefferson, curly hair. Cool. Melissa. All right, sweet. Sounds like everybody's on the same page. So tomorrow I will get together. I'll gather together a bunch of curly hair videos, and we'll have a curly hair extravaganza on Thursday. So I can't wait to have you guys on that show. It'll be 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, like always. So, and that's pretty much it. At the end of the show, what do we say? Have a great day. It's going to be a great day, right? I'll see you guys soon.
It's gonna be a great day. Chop it, clip it,
Thanks,
spray
guys.
it, flip it. I woke up this way. It's gonna be a great day. Chop it, clip it, spray it, flip it. Let me show you the way. It's gonna be a great day. Chop it, clip it, spray it, flip it. I woke up this way. It's gonna be a great day. Chop it, clip it, spray it, flip it.